are series hurting Star Wars? So I picked this topic, Jerry, because you and I both talked about how Kathleen Kennedy has basically been avoiding theaters because she knows that, if Mando might do good in theaters, but if it ain't that, this Rey movie is going to bomb bad. I mean, like
Yeah,
really, really bad.
really bad.
So do you think do you think that like after this bomb and all of these things happen, because there has to be a change once a film bombs. Do you think that like if you were in charge of Star Wars, are you putting all of your effort into the movies or more series?
I would say movies. Listen, first of all, I don't think all of the series have been dead.
For sure.
Mandalorian had 2 great seasons out of 3. Uh, Obi-Wan Kenobi, I loved. Ahsoka, I loved. Obviously the Acolyte is awful, and there's been some other awful ones. I don't think the problem is the series. I think the problem is the priorities being out of order. I think the problem has shown up in the movies, it's shown up in the series, and I think that they need to have a better all-around strategy, and like they need someone like Kevin Feige who's able to look at all of the stories that they're making. How are they cohesive? How do they present to the marketplace? And you know, because if this continues, people are going to talk about Star Wars as like, Star Wars like used to be cool, and now it's just like whack, like the way I talk about hip hop, And I think that people are like, no, that can't ever happen to Star Wars. Like, bro, it's happening right now. Okay, the brand name is being tarnished, and if this goes on much longer, the brand is just going to be in the trash. It can't suffer this much harm and sustain it for that long.
Yeah. I actually have a video that I'm working on. I still got to write out the script for it, but the name of it, Jerry, is how HBO or no, how Warner Bros is managing Game of Thrones better than Disney is managing Star Wars. And basically saying how Zaslav made it a priority to involve George R.R. Martin in every single development of the Game of Thrones content because he knows that George R.R. Martin created it, and that's what fans want. And so he has a good setup to where basically the showrunner is running things by George for the Game of Thrones shows, And so George R. Martin knows what's going on, and he's involved in the writing room, and he's making sure that everything fits the story, and he's even bending to some things in the film as well. You know what I mean? Because like there's been some changes, but the changes don't destroy the heart of the show. You know what I mean? And the franchise.
You know what they should do? They should write a $10 million check to George Lucas to help them with the next couple projects or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what they should do because they need someone like that. And quite frankly, I don't think there's anyone better to do it than George Lucas.
Yes. And George doesn't have to be directing, like, and that's what,
yeah,
and that's what, because like a lot of people keep thinking, Jerry, that George has to come here and be the next president. He does not have to be the president of Lucasfilm. You just get somebody, and to be honest, like, do what Zaslav did. He gets somebody from Marvel to do it. I'm just saying, like, you get Brian Winterhurst or somebody like that to just be able to make good executive decisions, and all you gotta do is have the guys run it by George. Like George doesn't really have to be as involved. You know what I mean?
100%. And by the way, shout out to Zaslav. And he gets a lot of hate on the internet for 2 reasons. He gets hate because there are people who are mad that he didn't hire Zack Snyder for the DCU, and he gets hate on, I don't even know what his politics are, but I've seen him get hate in the past for his politics and the way he handles his business. But he has been like killing it with Warner Brothers. So it's obvious that he shuts out the noise. He knows what he's doing, and he is battle tested. So shout out to him, because if it weren't for him, we wouldn't be getting the DCU the way we're getting the DCU. And I don't watch Game of Thrones, but I trust my man Stevie, and he knows what he's talking about. So it sounds like I don't think it's not that it sounds. I know if Stevie's saying it, that Game of Thrones as an IP is absolutely on fire.
Yeah, I mean, and not to mention, he bit the bullets. He canceled Batgirl. You know, he canceled some other projects that were
And
done.
that was a big decision.
That's
And you know
balls.
what that shows? I was going to say exactly this.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. That's balls, bro. You know, and Jerry and I were literally talking about this earlier, saying that Zaslav has done isn't talked about enough. He literally just helped to resurrect the Lord of the Rings franchise with doing this Hunt for Gollum film after Amazon took the Lord of the Rings franchise and they're doing a terrible job. And we also love Amazon, but they're really fumbling the bag with the Rings of Power.
What do you think Zaslav would do with Star Wars if he were in Bob Iger's shoes?
He would cancel everything, fire everybody. That's what he did with the DC. He fired the guy that was the head of the whole
Great
DC
point.
chapter. He fired everybody, bro. He fired everyone. He cleaned house, and that's the way you do it. There's no other way. Look, man, I understand, you know, you have people that have worked there for 20, 30, 40 years, but if it ain't working, you got to clean house. And Zaslav came in, Jerry, and clean house. Same with Lord of the Rings. Zaslav came in and brought back the people that made it work in the past. Do you know how big, bro, Lord of the Rings bringing back Peter Jackson, Jerry, is like
I know.
It's like Feige bringing back freaking Raimi to do Spider-Man. That's how big that is. I mean, it's a pretty big deal.